I haven't slept for 10 days because that would be way too long. Gentlemen, today I'm bringing you some domination on Cracked. Yeah, so today I want to talk about the problems with the video game industry, current problems they're facing, and I'd like to lead off with a little story. So recently, Vivendi is trying to unload ActivisionBlizzard. Right now, Vivendi has majority shares of ActivisionBlizzard. I think it's around 60%, and they are looking to sell that. So right now, the leading candidate for that is Microsoft, which it got me thinking that could be interesting. So everyone knows that Call of Duty is the highest selling video game. It probably will stay the highest selling video game for quite some time now. But if Microsoft owns Activision Blizzard, will they publish for PlayStation anymore? That would be weird. That would be huge. I don't think they would. They lose out on so much profits. And to go along with that, would Blizzard games be published on Mac? Which I believe all their games are. I don't know, StarCraft, but I know you could play Diablo and World of Warcraft on a Mac. So it's a little news story, something going on in the world right now. So getting back to the problem with the video game industry today is there's quite a few problems. I got a little list here. I want to start out with day one DLCs, where you buy the game, you shelled out $60 for this game. You come home and you're like, oh, there's more I need to buy, another $10 up to $40. I think I've seen $40. Take Tiger Woods for an example. I think Tiger Woods 13. You buy the game for $60, and the first day the game's out, there's a course pack for $40. It's like, seriously? You serious right now? You serious, Clark? How do you justify spending $100 on a golf game the first day? It's ridiculous. That's booty. I think Mass Effect did that too. I haven't played Mass Effect, so I'm not really sure on their dealios. But next thing is disc DLC. This kind of goes along with the topic, but games. I know Capcom did it, where the characters are physically on your disc, but to be able to have them, you need to pay them more money for something you've already bought. So you bought the game. You should get everything on the disc. No, not in Capcom's mind. You need to spend more money. That's like saying you get the single player, but you got to pay us for the multiplayer, even though we've promised you multiplayer. I don't know. That's not quite the right example. That's very extreme, but yeah. So disc DLCs. That's booty. You serious? All right. Next topic. All games have an online component. Now I know this has been come up lately because the CEO of EA is now saying that every game that EA makes has to have an online component so they can sell their online codes. Which, for most games, especially most games EA makes, is not that big of a deal. Battlefield 3, obviously it's got an online component. That's basically what it is, with a short single player. Any EA Sports games, of course you're going to have online. So it's not that big of a problem for EA. Majority of their games do have it. It doesn't really affect anything. But some of the single player games, that's going to wreck it. Now, here's an example of a single player game that tacked on a crappy multiplayer, which made the single player a little bit worse. And that example would be BioShock 2. It is nowhere near the quality that BioShock 1 was, but it also had a really crappy, it felt tacked on. It was like nobody ever played it. You'd be lucky if you could find a game like about a year after it came out. It was hard pressed to find a game. But you're saying, oh, that's a year though. But think about Call of Duty 4. That's been out for 5 years almost, and you can still easily find games. The same goes for Army of Two. I have that game. Army of Two 40th Day. It had a crappy multiplayer tacked onto it. Nobody ever played. the single player could have been longer. It had a fun co-op single player. Well, co-op, I guess. Co-op campaign. But with if they would have taken out the multiplayer, they could have made that longer, a little more fun. But so games having online components isn't the best idea. That's probably why Bethesda Game Studio is probably my favorite developers, because they don't tack on crappy multiplayers onto their games. They make single player games and they stick with single player games. And to be clear, I'm not talking about Bethesda the developer or the Bethesda the publisher. I'm just talking about Bethesda Game Studio, who for this current generation has only made Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Fallout 3, and Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Not the publisher who's put out stuff like Brink. I think Rage was by them. Yeah, Fallout New Vegas. I guess Bethesda Game Studio did help out with that, but that was not by them fully. So yeah. Next thing, no more original ideas. I think this has to go with how expensive making a video game is. Developers aren't going to want to risk something. They're not going to want to risk all this money on something that could be a complete failure. So you remember back to PlayStation 1 days, or even Wii right now, because it's the cheapest. It was really cheap to make the games. They would put out anything and everything. There were so many crappy games. There's so many cheap crappy games for the Wii, and there was for the PlayStation 2. Because like at the time, PlayStation 1, it was a lot cheaper for them to make a PlayStation 1 game than it was to make an N64 game. Because you just need a disc, and you didn't need Nintendo's seal of approval, which was a lot harder to obtain back then. Now it's not. I've seen a Wii game made by Jelly Belly. The damn Jelly Beans making games. Who buys that? You go into the Wii section, 90% of the games, you go in there and be like, who the hell would buy this? But, yeah, I guess that's for anything. Same with Kinect. There's a Michael Phelps Kinect game. Are you going to rip a bong or something? The hell do I want to play swimming? Fake rip a bong. Oh, maybe you're really rip a bong. Can Kinect see a bong? That's the question. I don't think it can. But back to the original ideas. I say I have about 20 games. One of them does not currently have a sequel. And that is only because its sequel comes out on Tuesday, which would be Borderlands. Otherwise, what do I have? Army of Two. That's the second one. Army of Two 40th Day. Battlefield 3. Bioshock 1. Bioshock 2. Borderlands. I already discussed that. Call of Duty 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Elder Scrolls 4, 5. Fallout 3 and New Vegas. What's else over there? Oh, Forza 2, Forza 4. Gears 1. Grand Theft Auto 4. Saints Row 2. Skate 1, 2, and 3. And then UFC 09. I only bought that one because it was $5. But that's kind of fun. For $5. I could have bought a sandwich for that price, but I bought that game. Yeah, enjoy it. Got it. That sandwich would be gone, but I still have that game. Moving on to the last topic. No more used games. If this really truly happens in the next generation, I'm going to be sad. It's not... a lot of my games are used, actually. It's a nice way to keep the price down. Now I know people complain about GameStop. They say, well, they charge... You buy a game for $60, you sell it back to them the next day for $30, and they sell it for $55. People are like, that's it. That's bad. Well, you know what? It's your own stupid fault for doing that. You got to learn that they're in it to make money. If we can do the Rick Harrison thing. Yeah. All right. You just bought this for $60. What are you looking to get out of it? Oh, I was hoping to get $50. No, the best I can do is $30. I mean, it's gonna sit. It takes a special buyer. It's gonna clutter up my inventory. So yeah, little Pawn Stars reference there. So if that's people's only major grief with GameStop is that they charge a lot, they don't give you as much money as they buy it for. Welcome to everything, anything, everywhere, always. Yeah, everyone's not gonna. Nobody forces you to sell your game to GameStop. There's so many other outlets, so many more. All right, well back This is kind of running out of time, I think, but back on the topic of no more used games. It's not so much about used games, it's not so much about GameStop, it's the fact that I can't borrow a friend's game. A lot of games that I've played were not actually mine. It's nice to be able to pick up, like, one of my roommate's games. Maybe I want to play it for a little bit. I don't want to shell out $60 for the game. Maybe I just want to play it, see if I like it. Maybe then I'd buy it. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not even the used market. It's the being able to borrow your friends' games is kind of shitty. That you can't do that. I hope they really don't. I hope they don't have no more used games. And if they do, if there are no more used games, hopefully it's cheaper. Well, yeah, there's my little rant about that. Game wrapped up a while ago, so I'll see you guys later.